All right. I am going. Yes, I'm sitting in the dark. You can't see me. You know what? I'm just gonna sit this on my shoulder here. Okay. Well, I am going to. I'm gonna quit smoking. And here's a nifty piece of advice. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you're gonna smoke, you have to be prepared to pay the consequences. Consequence number one. About a year after I started smoking. No, sorry. That's not number one. This is the last straw, technically. Anyway, consequence number one. I started coughing more. And I also started losing a little bit more time. Not much, because unlike everyone else, I just grabbed one and lit it rather than walking outside and then lighting it. Anyway, consequence number one, I start coughing more. And this is due to the fact that when harmful chemicals that are given off from a lit cigarette, either secondhand or just smoking a fucking cigarette, both actually, causes irritation to the lungs and the air sacs within the lungs that are so microscopic that we probably couldn't see them. But basically it's like a sponge. When it gets irritated, you've seen a dry sponge, right? It's fucking hard and crusty. It's kind of like that. Hard to breathe. Like an old ass sponge. Doesn't even absorb, after it expires, so to speak. Doesn't even absorb much, and that's due to all the pollutants and stuff. And that is actually a pretty good analogy. Anyway, the second consequence. You know what? Let me go back to the first one about the lungs. Once you're... You know what? This is the second one. But when, after your lungs get that irritated, your lungs start filling up with really messed up fluid. To a point where, mucus, right? You get more mucus than usual. I'm sick right now. So excuse the loud coughing that's probably making your ears bleed. I don't know yet. But, you get a lot more mucus. And thus, the mucus, when it's there, it's called chest congestion, but the mucus, when it's there, because it's filled up, you have a smaller tube for, breathing, basically. And it makes you cough a lot more, than if you just irritated your everything inside your chest. Consequence number 3. When you get sick, smoking amplifies how bad you feel. Even if you hadn't had one within a week of getting sick. Your first day, right? If you hadn't smoked for a week, it's still amplified. Your bad feelingness. Which means I am effectively in living hell because I can't breathe. Sometimes I cough so hard I can't see. My eyes water so much. My head hurts so badly. Well, and I haven't made it this far, but consequence number 4 is disease. Once you've smoked for years on end, you could, because cigarettes have cancer-causing chemicals inside of it, which is actually why I started smoking, because suicidal thoughts. Down. But I think, let's see, much more space. Oh my god. Well, heart disease and cancer and other disease like receding gum line that aren't really advertised as much because it's rare. Other things. More that I can't even tell you right now because I can't remember them all. And cancer was my goal, but not at this price, not at this cost. I mean, so I'm going to quit smoking because I am not living like this ever again. I've smoked for a grand total of a year now. I'm pretty sure my last video, which will not be in the description below. I don't even know how to look it up, but anyway, I'm quitting smoking, and I won't have anything else to do with it. Because I refuse to have a God like me be sick all the time. Sicker than sick can possibly ever get. I never thought that it doesn't make sense. Like, why would smoking amplify me being sick? But it does, and no one tells you this until until your first experience being sick while smoking. But it does. I'm having to use an inhaler. I'm having to use a spare inhaler that wasn't fully emptied the last time it was used. I think this one might have actually been mine before I got better. Last time I had, like when I had pneumonia. But feeling this bad makes me wish I was dead. However, even though I am a suicidal fuck, I still have, what's the word? Well, let's just basically say I refuse to go out like this, in misery and in pain. I want to go out after I just enjoyed the company of a friend or finished my life's work, which could be anything because I'm a fucking no good factory worker. An unemployed no good factory worker at this point. And which is actually kind of hilarious because back in high school and middle school, I always thought my dad was a disgrace because he was a factory worker. And we weren't rich as fuck like every other fucking student in school. Or at least living a good life. I was a fucking poor motherfucker. I was lucky if I mean, in high school, I was lucky. I didn't even go to high school, not really. My entire school career, so to speak, this is the only words I can find, it was special ed. And the fact, I was ashamed, I am ashamed, knowing that I went to special ed like I was a retard. In fact, that's exactly what everyone else called us. Retards. Which, well, hell, that did wonders for my self-confidence. Well, anyway, I was in out of school. My dad and I were basically, metaphorically, stuck in a ditch. Like a big hole in the ground with no ladder to climb out with and no exit. So, and this is a metaphor towards, well, basically the quality of life that I was living. Stuck. At this point in time, for like 4 years, I was, in fact, lucky for a can of corn for dinner. I hated the cream corn, but sometimes it was all we had. I know ramen noodles is a blessing. I mean, they're so cheap, but even then, after a while, you fucking run out of the good stuff that is ramen noodles. And all you have to fall back on is a can of corn, or a can of Beanie Weenies, or some Chef Boyardee crap in a can. Basically, I hated my life. And I still hate my life. Which in a way is the sole reason why I am as suicidal as I am. But it's okay. I mean, I've been living with these thoughts for my entire life. What's another day? What's another week? What's another 18 years? No, that ain't right. What's another 21 years is what I meant to say, because that is my age. I think I lost my train of thought. But anyway, this is about 15 and a half minutes, so farewell, good night, and, well, Jesus loves you all. I'm incapable of loving you all because I don't know you yet, so I don't care if you leave a like down below, but might help if you do. I don't know. I'm inexperienced. Thank you. Bye.